What in the heck is up, guys? It's Jacob here, and today we're going to do a video on installing a LAMP server on Ubuntu server 12.04. Now, someone requested this video. I don't know if it was in the forums or somewhere on YouTube, but someone requested it, so I'm going to go ahead and make it. And it's a good video to make. I can't believe I haven't made it yet already, but that's why I'm making it. Anyways, to start out, what you need is the static IP address. So I just made that tutorial just a second ago. In fact, here's the video clip, guys. Anyways, if you don't have a static IP address on your server, you should make one. In fact, any server should have a static IP address. Whether it's a web server or not, you should have a static IP address, because it's just always, if you have a DHCP address, it can change, and that can cause, issues with your server, problems that, you don't want. So it's always good to have a static IP address. It just eliminates a lot of problems that you may have. So anyways, once you've made a static IP address, there's several ways to install LAMP. So let me just go ahead and explain what LAMP is real quick. LAMP stands for Linux Apache. Apache is the actual thing that hosts your files. It's the web server itself. And then M for MySQL, that's the database. That's what stores all your data, like your text and everything that your website has, all your content, right? And then the PHP is the server-side code. That's what makes your website kind of dynamic. It's the script that makes your website function. Really, it's the server-side function code of like your website. So, anyways, now that we got that out of the way, there's several ways to install LAMP. You can actually install them individually. Like you could go sudo apt-get install Apache, sudo apt-get install MySQL, blah blah blah. But that's a little bit more of a pain in the ass than it needs to be. The easy way to do it, let me show you guys how to do it, is you're going to run the sudo task-sel command. Now, task-sel. Now, just run this command, task-sel, sudo task-sel, and it'll come up with this window. Now, if it doesn't come up with this window and it gives you like an error and it says, what the hell is task-sel, then you probably don't have the task-sel installed on your server. Then in that case, you're just going to want to go ahead and run sudo apt-get install task-sel. Okay, and by the way, guys, if you need to, go ahead and run the sudo apt-get update command too as well, just to run an update before you install LAMP. It's always good to update your server every now and then, and it just kind of will make things a little bit easier. But anyways, if you guys don't have the MySQL, here, let me just show it real quick. If you guys don't have this LAMP option, there's the LAMP server option right here. If you guys do not see this, just go ahead and go down to the very bottom and hit manual package selection, and you can hit enter, and you can actually go in there and update all your packages, and it'll add the LAMP server selection here. So once you see this LAMP server in the task cell, just go ahead and hit the space bar. The space bar will add this little star next to it. Once you've selected the LAMP server package, it'll take care of installing everything you need for it. It'll take care of installing Apache, MySQL, and PHP. And PHP has like a lot of other weird packages with it. So anyways, just go ahead and hit enter, and it's going to go ahead and download and install all these files. So we're just going to go ahead and pause it real quick, and I'll resume the video when it has come to a point that we need to resume it. Okay, so it's asking us for a MySQL root user password. Now you can leave this blank, and in most cases by default your root user doesn't have a password. But I don't recommend doing this on Linux, and the reason being is when you go ahead and try and log into your MySQL server through a phpMyAdmin, it's not going to let you do it without a password. Linux is a little bit more safer in that it realizes that you don't have a password, and it's not going to let you log in without one. And then you have to go and change the settings of that. So just go ahead and put a password. It doesn't have to be really secure, because you want to change the root user anyways. I'm going to show you guys how to do that. So just go ahead and, just for this case, just put the word password. Honestly, just put that. It doesn't have to be a secure password right now, because this doesn't matter. We're going to delete all this in the future anyways. So just put the word password like me, and just go ahead and set it again, PASSWORD, and it's just going to resume installing the rest of it. So we'll resume the video here in a second. Alright guys, so it's done installing. Now that's the thing about LAMP, is when it's done, it doesn't really give you a hooray good job message. It doesn't really tell you that it installed, it doesn't give you any message. In fact, it just goes back to the command line and there's nothing. It doesn't give you any progress. So there's really kind of no way to know if it installed correctly. You're just kind of, crossing your fingers hoping it did install. So how do we check it? Well, that static IP address that I told you guys needed, here's where it comes into play. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go up in here. Where the hell are we? Move this. And I'm going to go ahead and write the IP address, which is 10.0.0.4 for this server. And we can see that, get that out of here, it comes up with this page and it says it works, okay? So when you come up with this point, this is just the default stuff for the lamp. So when you have this running, you pretty much, that means you have a lamp installed correctly and it's working perfect. As long as you see this page, you're good to go. That means you can pretty much set up your web server for your specific situation, whatever you're using it for. So anyways, now that we have this page, that means that the Apache part of the server is working. It doesn't really test the MySQL or PHP part of it, but since it installs it all as one package, you can pretty much assume that they're working as well. So in order to get it up and running, we're also going to need to configure the MySQL database. Now, the easiest way to connect with the MySQL database is using the phpMyAdmin. We can see here that we have, you can connect to it using the MySQL and go in here, and this will take you to the MySQL command line, but not a lot of people know the actual codes for MySQL, know how to do it manually, and it's really a pain in the ass. So an easier way to do it is actually, let's just go ahead and get this. So we're going to go ahead and run the sudo apt-get get install, and then we're just going to put the word phpMyAdmin. It's all one word, sudo apt-get install phpMyAdmin. So we're going to run that command, and it's going to ask us, do we want to install it? And of course we did, or else we wouldn't have ran that command. And then it's just going to go ahead and install it for us. It'll take just a second, and it'll ask us for a password here in just a second. I'm actually, should I pause it? Nope. Okay, here it goes. So it's asking us if we want to run it with Apache 2 or Light TPD or whatever the hell that is. I never used that server, but let's just go ahead and hit Apache 2 because we're using a lamp, which is Apache. So just put a space for a star and then hit OK. And it's going to ask us, do we want to configure a database for phpMyAdmin with a dbconfig con? Just go ahead and hit yes for that. And then it's going to ask us for the password of the database administrative user. So we're just going to go ahead and put that password again, which is password. Password. And again, guys, use this password for now. I will change it later. I'll show you guys why. Just go ahead and keep using this password. Okay. And then it's going to ask us for it again. Okay, so now that it's done, we're just going to go ahead and hit yes. And it's for some reason telling us that it can't use that password. Let's just go ahead and ignore that for now. Anyway, so it installed phpMyAdmin. Let's go ahead and go over here, and now we go to our IP address, and we're going to put /phpMyAdmin. So we're just going to go here, and it's going to come up with this little login window. So, okay, now what we have is we're just going to go ahead and put that root username, and then that password is password that we created when we made MySQL, and that's just the word password. So that should take us here. So at this point, we should be able to manipulate user privileges and whatnot. Alright guys, so we're at the point where we're going to go ahead and make a new user. So remember how I said before, just go ahead and put password for everything. Just put the word password. It doesn't really matter. That's because we use the root account to set up our database and our phpMyAdmin, okay? So we're logging into everything right now with our root account. But we want to actually ultimately remove all these root accounts. The reason being because it's just a security issue. You don't want any root accounts on here. It's just too default, You want to have an administrative user with root privileges, but you don't want the username to be root just because everyone knows that exists. So you want to go ahead and remove all these. But one mistake you do not want to make, and I do want to warn you that this is a huge nightmare if you ever do this. Don't delete all your root users, then go to add a new user. Because remember, you're logged in under the root account right now. And if you delete all the administrative privileges, all the accounts with administrative privileges, then you're not going to be able to actually log back into this and make these changes, because you will delete your administrator. It's basically like deleting your C drive on your computer. You are screwed. You can't really get back. It's probably easier to reinstall the operating system. But anyways, now that I have told you guys that, before you delete your root accounts, you need to make a new administrative user. So just make a non, standard username. Let's just say, for my case, I'll just put Jacob, right? So I'll just put the name Jacob. I'm going to make it any host. It can be localhost, any host, whatever works for you, or just define a host. But I'm going to use any host because it's a root user. It's going to have like all privileges. So this is going to be the secure password. This is now going to be your MySQL root user password, your password that you want to have to secure your MySQL database. For my case, just because it's a tutorial and because this doesn't matter, I'm just going to put the word pass just for simplicity. And PASS. No, this is not my actual MySQL database password, guys. But anyways, so this is going to be your username for your administrative user and your password. Okay, so now you're going to want to grant all privileges on all the on all the databases and everything. So then it has all the privileges it can have, and then we're going to go ahead and hit check all. You want to give every privilege you can and set 0 for all your limits. You don't want to have any limits on your administrative user. So now we're going to go ahead and create this user. Okay, so now we can see that we have Jacob. It's on any host. He is using a password. He has all privileges, and we are granting his permission. Okay, so we're pretty close to deleting all these root accounts. Okay, because we don't want these. This is now going to be replacing our root accounts. But just before we do this, let's go ahead and make sure that we did everything right. Because again, it's a huge nightmare if you delete your root accounts and you don't have an actual administrative user access. So I'm going to go ahead and log in with the username Jacob like this. And I'm going to put my password, my secret password. And then it actually says it cannot log into MySQL. Alright, sorry about that, guys. I actually discovered the issue. Slight, a little mistake I made. I will show you guys it. Now it works. So PASS, and we can log in, and we have all the privileges. So I would recommend that you make 2 accounts. You see how there's multiple root accounts? You can see here we have the 127.0.0.1, the semicolon thing with the 1, and then localhost and server 2. Make your account with a %, so that's like a wildcard. You can log in with any host, but also make a local host account for if you're connecting to it locally. Okay, make both of those accounts. So pretty much copy all the privileges, the same username, same password, and everything. Just make one with any host and the local host. Make a local host account also. That's what the issue was with me logging in. Okay, so you can see that I'm logged in under Jacob. I logged in with the Jacob username. And there's no red things down here. There's no red notifications. There's nothing saying, hey, you don't have root privileges. It's letting me go in here and edit this user information, which means I probably have some pretty high root privileges. So that means your user account is working. At this point, it's safe to say that you can delete all your root users because you no longer are going to need them, because now this is going to be your administrator user. Okay. So we're just going to go ahead and hit check all those, and we're going to go to down here where it says remove selected users, and we're just going to hit the go button like that. And now we can see that we've deleted all the root users, so now they're no longer in there. This removes a huge security risk, because now people can't screw around with trying to log in under a root account and maybe possibly trying to attack that password or whatever. Now you have a secure account with your name and your own password. So it's just kind of a better way of doing it. And that's why the password that I told you to type in earlier with the word password, it doesn't matter anymore, because we just deleted all those accounts with the word password. So that's pretty much it for how to set up MySQL. You can go in here and set up all your databases and stuff for your websites. That's a whole nother tutorial on its own. That's like more on the actual website creation side than the server side. But yeah, this is where you manage all your databases and whatnot. So that's phpMyAdmin in a bundle. That's pretty much it for this. Another thing I wanted to show you guys here, let's go ahead and move all this over here just to keep it so it's less distracting, is the php.ini file, just in case you guys ever need to edit this. This is very helpful. So if we go ahead and ls /etc slash php5, you can see that there's the Apache 2, APACHE 2, and then inside here there's the php.ini. So just so you guys know, you may need to go in here and edit this. There's a lot of settings in here that PHP deals with as far as like extensions goes, and like upload limit sizes and timeouts, server timeouts and stuff like that. A lot of server configuration for MySQL, or for for MySQL, for PHP goes in here. So to edit this, you're just gonna go ahead and run sudo vi /etc /php5 /apache2 php.ini, and then you just go ahead and hit enter. It's a very large file, just so you guys know. I mean, you can see that we just scrolled that much and we're only 5% into it. So there's a lot of control structures in here for PHP, and it's very useful. You may want to go through here at some point and take a peek. And it's just go ahead and edit the values so that they work for your site, so that your site will work at the most secure and efficient way that it possibly can. But this is a whole nother tutorial on its own. But I just wanted to show you guys. Let's go ahead and hit :WQ. I want to show you guys the location of that file, just so you guys know where the php.ini is. So one other thing that you guys are wondering is probably, how the hell do I put my website content in? Okay, so we go here. Not there, but we go here. Ignore that, guys. Sorry about that. That's embarrassing. Anyways, we go here and we can see that there's this. If we take away the phpMyAdmin, there's this page. But how do I put my own website on here? This is not any website that I want, right? So how do we put our own content on this server? It's actually quite simple. Just go ahead and you can put it on a flash drive or whatever the heck you want to do and mount it, but you have to put it in this directory. You have to go ahead and you're gonna go I'm gonna go ahead and ls /var /www. So this is the location of your www directory. So inside here, this is the index.html file that you're seeing right here. This one index.html file is this web page right here. So you just go ahead and copy all your website files into the var /www directory, and that's where all your web content is going to be stored. This contains your directory that your web server will host on your website. That's pretty much it for LAMP server. If you guys have any more questions, just go ahead and head over to my website, thehackhub.com, get into the forums and ask your questions there. I'd be more than happy to answer them. That's pretty much it for this tutorial. I hope you guys found it useful, and like always, guys, have a good one.